When it comes to the best video camera you can get right now for the price, I don't think anything beats the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera, but instead of just taking my word for it, I wanted to partner up with 4 other creators to tell you guys 5 reasons you should be considering shooting with the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera 4K. What's good, creative fan? Brandon Washington here. First of all, if you're brand new to the channel, definitely consider hitting that subscribe button, because this channel is all about filmmaking gear, tips, and tutorials. But in today's video, we're going to be looking at 5 reasons you should be considering picking up the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera 4K. Now, a lot of you guys have reached out to me recently about the last videos that I put out, telling me that you were kind of on the fence when it comes to picking up this camera. So I decided that I wanted to compile 5 good reasons why you should consider this camera. Now, I know that I could talk about this camera all day, in which I kind of already have because I've made a ton of videos. I love this camera. So instead of doing that, I wanted to partner up with a couple other creators and get their input on why you should consider this camera. And so for this video, I decided to partner up with my good friends Armando, Gerald Undone, Sixx, and Joshua Martin, because they all own the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera and have been shooting with it for a little while. So I wanted to get their seasoned approach on why this camera is so great. But without further ado and not wasting any more time, let's go ahead and jump in with Gerald to figure out why he loves this camera so much.
What's happening, creative fam? Gerald Undone here. I'm filming this on the Blackmagic Pocket 4K right now, actually, and one of the things that I think Blackmagic absolutely nailed with this camera is the interface. I've used a lot of cameras, and I've never seen one this intuitive. Some other cameras can have a rather steep learning curve, and I find that this can actually be discouraging for people when it comes time to actually start shooting. But as subjective as this might be, I found the Pocket 4K to be the #1 camera I've ever owned when it comes to just wanting to grab it and go shoot with it, and I think a lot of this comes down to its ease of use. All the buttons are clearly marked, and they perform one task only. You've got ISO, shutter angle, and white balance on the top. 3 function buttons, which you can map to whatever you want. I have mine configured to enable or disable zebras, focus peaking, and my preview LUT. And then on the back side, you can quickly enter into slow motion with the press of a button, magnify your image, access the menu, or play back your files. But what's great is you don't even need to use those buttons if you don't want to. You can change anything that you see on the screen by just tapping on it. It's extremely intuitive. Want to change your ISO? Tap ISO. Change your frame rate? Tap frame rate. Want to zoom in? Double tap anywhere and then drag your finger around. And the menu is just as easy. Everything is laid out in a logical way with fantastic touch control. And when it comes to customizing what you see on the screen, the options are fantastic. You can independently control all of the monitoring tools or turn them off completely with a clean feed. And these options are the same for the secondary monitor over HDMI. So you can put a clean feed on both, only one, or neither, and you can choose which screen gets which tools. It's very confidence instilling when it comes time to shoot because you know you're set up correctly and you can monitor your image exactly how you want. In my opinion, this is easily the best interface I've seen on a camera to date.
What's up, Brandon? And what's up, creative fam? Just stopping by to tell y'all the reason why I like the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema 4K camera. And it's not the name. The reason I like the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera 4K is because it has so many options for storage. So you have CFast, SD cards, and you can even go out the USB-C to a SSD hard drive. The reason this is so important to me is because it gives me so many different ways that I can rig this camera, so many different media options that I can record out to, and I just love having the ability to have multiple cards on site. Another good reason for having all these different media options is you can rig this camera so many different ways. So for me, when I'm going caged out on tripod, I'm usually gonna use an SSD with a USB-C straight into the camera. Each one of these options can shoot RAW and ProRes. Yes, SD cards may not be as fast, so you may have to compress a little bit more, but it is capable of shooting Blackmagic RAW. That's just one of the reasons why I picked up this camera, but make sure to listen to everybody else and get their tips, because you won't be upset with this camera.
Hey Brandon, and what's up, creative fam? My name is Armando, and hands down, my favorite feature of the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K is the ability to shoot internal RAW. Now, if you're not familiar with what video RAW is, essentially it's the same thing as photo RAW. If you've taken a DSLR or a mirrorless camera and you've set your settings to RAW, taking a picture, you'll notice that you have way more flexibility. You're able to adjust things like ISO, ISO, white balance, and you just have more control of your image. Essentially, that's the same thing with video raw. If you've ever taken a video and you've overexposed or possibly underexposed, you're able to recover the highlights, you're able to recover the shadows way more with video raw, and also you can adjust the white balance, which is insane. So having raw capabilities at this price point is literally unheard of, and that's actually one of my favorite things of the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K.
Hey Brandon, and what's up creative fam? It's your boy Joshua Martin, and one of my favorite features about the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K is the adaptability of the lens mount. You are using a micro four lens system, so you have the ability to adapt it to EF, PL, some other adapters out there that companies make, especially older vintage lenses that look super amazing on the sensor. So you have the versatility of getting so many different looks based on the lenses that you have, based on the mounts that you can put on the system, on the camera that is. Another thing that you should keep in mind is the cage options out there. Small rig, Tilta, iCan, Shape, all these different companies have very unique and slightly different rig options to build out your cage. I'm personally rocking the Tilta full cage. I have the rod adapters, the side handle, and the top handle. And this gives me a lot of flexibility to how I want to rig out for different shoots, either interview style, either run and gun, even my favorite setup, the anamorphic setup. So if you are interested in this camera, just know that you have a very versatile pocket cinema camera, no pun intended, but you have a very versatile camera in terms of how you want it to look based on the lenses that you can use, and as well how you can rig it out with different options for cages. So yeah.
Now those are 4 great reasons, but I think my favorite reason why I love shooting with this camera has to just do with the overall image. I mean, the image that this thing produces is absolutely amazing. Recently, I've just kind of been for fun, just testing this camera up against some of the bigger cinema cameras. So I recently did a video comparing this up to the Red, and it really went hand in hand. And in fact, it actually beat the Red in my opinion in low light. And actually, I'm working on a video right now, so I'll give you a little sneak peek comparing this to the Alexa Mini. And I have to say that even when it's going up against the Alexa Mini, it is going toe to toe. I mean, for the price of $1,300, when it comes to the image, which you're actually getting out of the camera, yes, there's a lot of extra add-ons and things you can do with these different cameras, but when it comes to the thing, in my opinion, which is most important, and that is what you are actually getting off the sensor, this camera is unbeatable for the price. But there you have it, guys. Thank you so much for checking out this video. I'll have links to all those creators down below in the description. And if you have any additional questions about the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K, definitely leave those down in the comments, because I'll be jumping down there to answer any questions you guys have, or I'll answer them in a future video. But again, thank you guys so much for checking out this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.